CTV News with Carlyle Fiset.
Good evening. Thanks for joining us. We begin tonight with the federal government initiating dispute settlement proceedings against Stellantis over the company moving production from Canada to the U.S. Mike LeCouture has more on this act of trying to hold the automaker accountable.
Industry Minister Melanie Joly says today's action is based on the belief that automaker Stellantis did violate the billion-dollar contract signed with the federal government.
If you make promises and then walk away, you will be held accountable.
A blunt message for Stellantis from the federal government. Before being questioned by a parliamentary committee, the industry minister said Ottawa is going after the car maker.
We'll start the 30-day period of the formal dispute resolution process in order to bring back production at the Stellantis Brampton facility.
In October, Stellantis announced it was moving production of its Jeep Compass from its Brampton, Ontario plant to Illinois. In response, the government capped how many vehicles Stellantis and GM can import tariff-free into Canada. Going to the dispute resolution process could be risky, according to this trade lawyer, because the automaker could play hardball.
I think what they would say is, look, Canada, if you really want to do this, take this approach, then, we might give you your money back and say goodbye to you.
And your government committed thousands, millions and billions.
In a sometimes combative exchange, Conservative members of the parliamentary committee demanded to know if the contract with Stellantis spelled out job commitments in Brampton. Documents related to the building of the battery plant in Windsor, obtained by CTV News, clearly state NextStar Energy and Stellantis committed to creating and maintaining 2,500 jobs at that plant. The contract for the Brampton plant has not been released.
She could have been very clear if her government made a 3,000 job commitment for Brampton or a broader Canadian footprint agreement. She was not clear on that. That tells me there isn't one.
Minister Joly told the committee the car plants in Windsor and Brampton are linked, as are the contracts. Adding MPs will be able to see that when the Brampton contract is presented at another committee. Mike LeCouture, CTV News, Ottawa.
Officials in St. Thomas are lauding a major international investment announced last week. Upwards of 1,000 new jobs could come with the project, which, as Rita Ismail reports, could offset recent concerns about job losses, especially in the auto sector.
The city of St. Thomas is charging ahead in the race to build Ontario's electric vehicle supply chain.
It is a bit like a Field of Dreams vibe, isn't it? With the if you build it, they will come kind of attitude.
Norwegian company Vinode, a global leader in sustainable battery materials, has announced it will build its first North American synthetic graphite plant at Yarmouth Yards. Vinode's products are a key ingredient in lithium-ion batteries, including those made at nearby Volkswagen-backed PowerCo Gigafactory, although no agreement has been made between the two as of yet.
There has been a very public announcement about a GM contract that they have in the U.S., so initially, that's the driver behind the investment in St. Thomas.
In a statement, the company's CEO says, "We've chosen St. Thomas for our first North American large-scale plant because it offers everything we were looking for: a pool of skilled talent, world-class infrastructure, and a low-carbon electricity grid, all close to our customers." The company says the new plant will produce high-performance, low-emission synthetic graphite, a critical material for the next generation of electric vehicles.
We've been working with them for a while, and their team is incredible. It's obvious that they care about their people, and it's impressive how focused they are on sustainability.
Production is expected to begin in 2028, creating about 300 skilled jobs at first and up to 1,000 once the plant reaches full capacity.
We have a 1,500-acre industrial site. Obviously, some of that's taken up with roads and other utilities, but PowerCo is using just under 400 acres. Well, I know it's going to be just under 150 acres for now. And the rest of the park is available for sale.
Experts say Vinode's investment could help stabilize the region's economy, coming in at a time when traditional auto manufacturing has faced layoffs and uncertainty.
These announcements are good news. They're bright spots. And I think they signal a transition to, what's next for the automotive industry in Canada.
With the company planning to supply materials for up to 3 million electric vehicles a year by 2030, the St. Thomas facility is more than a local investment. It's a statement about Canada's place in the global green economy. Rita Ismail, CTV News.
Officials with the NextStar battery plant say they're ready to start production in Windsor later this month. However, this facility won't just be about EV batteries. As Sanjay Maru reports, a bigger factor could be the growing energy demands in artificial intelligence.
After 3 years of construction, Windsor's $5 billion NextStar energy plant is ready to produce another product. Company leaders say the market for storing electricity, not just using it, is growing fast.
With the AI data boom, the grid's not ready to be able to support all this new infrastructure. Supplementing the grid with these ESS systems, we're able to launch these data centers.
Energy storage batteries, known as ESS, can hold power from sources like wind or solar, then release it back to the grid when it's needed. That's why the Windsor facility, a joint venture between Stellantis and LG Energy Solution, will begin producing ESS at the end of this month, with plans to add EV cells in the future as market conditions warrant.
The energy storage system has always been on our radar. EV was to take up 100% of the capacity, but ESS was always the secondary that could be ready.
The timing reflects a slowdown in electric vehicle sales, now making up just over 9% of new registrations in Canada, down from nearly 19% a year ago.
There is no more EV incentive. That $5,000 rebate that the federal government would give anyone that made a purchase of an EV, that's gone.
Automotive News Canada digital editor Greg Layson says U.S. policy changes are also playing a role, with Donald Trump rolling back EV incentives and easing rules for gas-powered vehicles, making them more affordable. According to Layson, all this makes leading with ESS a practical move for Stellantis as the EV market looks to stabilize.
This is probably a good pivot for NextStar and Stellantis in the short term.
But according to the company, this short-term play will not affect its long-term mission or hiring targets.
Currently, we're just over 1,050 employees. We continue to hire 50 to 100 employees per month, and we're still striving towards our original goal of 2,500 employees at NextStar.
In Windsor, Sanjay Maru, CTV News.
A bus driver was killed in a crash yesterday on the 401 near London. He was driving dozens of students from Kitchener to Leamington for a field trip when the bus left the road and ended up in the ditch. Police said 4 students were taken to hospital with minor injuries. The rest ended up at the East Lyons Community Centre, where their families picked them up. Students who were on board said it looked like the driver had a medical episode before the crash.
I was at the very back of the bus, so all I saw was something fly off the side, and then everything was just kind of a blur after that. We just opened the emergency hatch thing, and just everyone kind of was helping people get out.
We have young people that, a little traumatic for them to experience something of this nature, and with our members and all first responders getting on scene to make sure that those students that needed care immediately were taken care of.
Police say the traffic reconstruction management team is responsible for figuring out what caused the crash and how the driver died. A 19-year-old pedestrian was killed over the weekend in Essex County, hit by an OPP officer. According to the SIU, the officer hit the woman early yesterday morning on County Road 20 near Eiler Road. Investigators say she was rushed to hospital but did not survive. In an emailed statement, an SIU spokesperson says the officer did not appear to be en route to a call for service. Sarnia police say they're investigating a woman's death from last week. They say the body of a 34-year-old woman was found at the Ferry Dock Hill early Friday morning. A post-mortem found no obvious cause of death, and police say they're now awaiting the results of a toxicology report. They also say next of kin have been notified and the woman's identity will not be released. A London judge has denied bail for the man behind Creeper Hunter TV. 45-year-old Jason Nasser was arrested last week, accused of breaching his release conditions by attending a screening of a documentary about him, which was also attended by his previous victims' family members. London police laid multiple charges, including new counts of harassment. Nasser remains in custody at least until his next court appearance on Wednesday. London City Councillor Susan Stevenson is posting her concerns over harassment in a municipal housing department, responding to a pair of CTV News stories from last week.
I think that the public does want council to look into this, to provide the oversight, and to rectify the situation however we can.
A former city employee filed a human rights complaint which confirmed she experienced workplace harassment by a department director. Stevenson says she's working with other councillors to bring their concerns to an upcoming committee meeting and is asked to see the original human rights report as well as data on severance paid out over the last 10 years.
I'm all in favor of a whistleblower policy, even in terms of fraud and other things that people do speak to me about. To think that going to your councillor or the city manager is the best course of action, I don't think is the best way to protect the human resources and financial assets of the city.
The Tree of Hope was illuminated in Victoria Park earlier tonight, a ceremony led by a pair of families who have lost loved ones to femicide.
Tiff didn't die, she was murdered. And no, I'm not the same. I'm never going to be the same. You don't know what it's like to have a child taken from you. And I hope you never, ever do. But this has got to stop.
Tiffany Gates and Caitlin Jennings were each killed by intimate partner violence. This year's Shine the Light campaign will focus on femicide and preventing others from becoming victims. Throughout November, buildings and landmarks will light up in purple, part of the Violence Against Women Awareness campaign.
Remember the victims, my daughter being one of them, but it's also the people we're going through, not just people that have died. It's the people that are still going through the mental abuse, the physical abuse, the coercive control.
An East London community centre is set to resume operations tomorrow. City officials say a transformer blew Friday night at the East Lyons Community Centre. It's been closed since then while repairs were carried out. Staff say all programs will resume tomorrow with the exception of the pool. They say crews are still working on mechanical components with no timeline for when those will be completed. Premier Doug Ford says he won't apologize for his anti-tariff ad, which President Trump blamed when he called off trade talks last week. With the latest on the questions put to Doug Ford today, here's Siobhan Morris.
Trade barriers hurt every American worker.
A week after it was pulled from U.S. TV networks, there's bigger bluster from the premier defending his anti-tariff ad featuring the voice of former President Ronald Reagan.
There's never been an ad in the history of this world that has seen 12.4 billion views.
On Friday, the Prime Minister revealed he hadn't wanted the ad to run at all.
Did you inform Mr. Ford that this is something that you did not want to go forward with?
Yes.
Doug Ford doesn't want to fall into what he calls a bear trap of explaining who said what.
I had a different recollection of our conversation.
Sharing that Mark Carney did keep up the pressure.
He called me from Asia a couple times and said, pull the ad.
Not relenting until after trade talks with the U.S. abruptly stopped.
No deal's better than a bad deal. And that's what President Trump wants.
While Ford is unrepentant.
I did apologize to the president. President was offended by the act, or by the ad, rather.
Ford calls the I'm sorry the Prime Minister's prerogative, but it's not something you'd catch him doing.
I'll never apologize to Donald Trump, ever. They put me on a stretching rack, I wouldn't apologize.
The yeas are 50, the nays are 46.
Ford credits the ad with reviving debate on tariffs in the U.S. Senate.
Donald Trump has stopped the discussions because a TV ad hurt his feelings.
4 Republicans jumped over and voted against tariffs on Canada.
But those are Republicans who'd already spoken out against tariffs before the ad was on television.
It didn't sway any votes in the Senate. Right? It wasn't the greatest ad in human history. It was an unforced error.
I wish the Premier would spend as much time developing a jobs plan for Ontario as he is looking at the number of views on his ad.
Worried about communities like Ingersoll, where GM is ending production of an electric delivery van because of low demand.
I want to tell you what one of the members said to me. He said, this ego clash is killing us.
Despite all the back and forth over the ad, the Premier insists his relationship with the Prime Minister is still strong, and he believes Mark Carney is doing his best to reach a trade deal for Canada. At Queen's Park, Siobhan Morris, CTV News.
The history of one of London's most recognizable buildings will be celebrated this month. For decades, before the Delta Armories became the hotel it is today, it served multiple military regiments. And this year, the Armory turns 120 years old. With more on those anniversary celebrations, here's Sean Irvin.
This is the gun shed over here, and up above, that was where classrooms were.
The past president of the 1st Hussars Association remembers fondly the time he spent in what is now the Delta Armories Hotel in downtown London.
Well, this was not only the center of military activity, but it's also the center of social activity.
Transformed into a hotel in the late 1980s, the Armories spent its first 73 years serving multiple regiments. While Londoners over 50 recalled its original purpose, the 1st Hussars want to educate others for the Armory's 120th anniversary. For starters, beginning Tuesday evening, the regiment will fly its flag on the building for the first time since 1978.
We are reclaiming the Dundas Street Armories, yes, back to the 1st Hussars, and also to all the other regiments.
With the cooperation of the hotel, the week will also include a fundraising brunch and 2 days of indoor guided tours to areas that still relate to the original structure.
I want to show them where history was made and where the people trained and where they enjoyed themselves.
Now, to visualize the anniversary on a grand scale, period vehicles are going to be parked in front of the Armory on Remembrance Day. The move is designed to simulate the hustle and bustle of the Armory in the height of its operation.
This building had ranges in it, it had classrooms, it had a band room, it had messes.
And now, over a century and one major transformation later, a lasting legacy.
Just like Holy Roller is a landmark for the unit and the association in the city, the Delta Armories and the Armories in itself is also a vital landmark to the city.
Because the people who came through here made history, just not Canadian history, but world history.
In London, Sean Irvin, CTV News.
Still to come, the triplets running their own food truck. Just 13 years old, and these girls from Aylmer are getting a head start on their entrepreneurial goals. Gains in consumer cyclicals help push the TSX to a modestly higher finish today, up 14 points. In New York, the Dow lost 226, the Nasdaq added 110. The Canadian dollar fell a fifth of a cent. On commodity markets, gold gained more than $17 an ounce, and oil is up 7 cents a barrel. Federal government officials are setting a tone of austerity ahead of tomorrow's budget presentation. The Prime Minister himself has said tough choices and sacrifices will be needed in response to American tariffs. With more on those expectations, here's Abigail Beeman.
In the pre-budget day new shoe buying tradition, the finance minister got hands-on at a factory, underlining build Canadian, buy Canadian.
The budget tomorrow is all about, it's an investment budget. It's a generational shift.
The government now only stressing investment.
C'est un budget d'austérité et d'investissement.
While in early September, Justin French, Mark Carney also said austerity. Late October, a reference to sacrifices.
We won't transform our economy easily or in a few months. It will take some sacrifices.
Pounced on by opposition.
All our young Conservatives are fighting for homes, jobs, and hope, and they refuse to sacrifice their future.
We will not support an austerity approach.
There will be big spending in that budget, which goes against, I think, the logic of austerity. So there is a kind of tension here.
Desjardins economists predict the deficit will hit $75 billion.
I don't think you can characterize a $75 billion deficit as an austerity budget or austerity deficit.
There are obviously unanswered questions about just what is getting cut. Public service jobs most discussed. And the government has also promised to maintain some big-ticket programs and spend more on defense.
Austerity will mean different things to different people. And those who are most impacted will see the austerity. You can see public servants who are going to be impacted will view this as an austerity budget. The unions will view this as an austerity budget.
The Liberals are just 3 seats shy of a majority, meaning they need some help from the opposition parties in order to pass this budget in the confidence vote ahead or risk heading to an election.
Abigail Beeman, CTV News, Ottawa.
Good evening. Skies will be clear overnight and waking up tomorrow morning to some sunshine. Thanks, Sandy, for this photo of Zoe all decked out in her Minnie Mouse costume. If you're heading out tomorrow morning for a walk, you'll need a nice warm jacket, perhaps some mitts. The temperature at +2 as we head out the door. 4 degrees by 8 o'clock. Gorgeous conditions heading into Tuesday afternoon. I'll have your local weather details and a parade of low pressure systems moving into southern Ontario this week. I'll have the timing on the rain coming up.
Welcome back on the desk now with Julie Anderson. A rainy start to the week this morning, but it did clear up really nice. Got some lovely sunshine. It sounds like we're going to get a bit more of that tomorrow.
Yeah, we had the cold front come through this morning, and what started, as you mentioned, a rough day, it really improved. We had some gusty winds as well, and a few wind warnings issued in and around the region. But tonight, it's quiet. Skies are clear. And when we recap the numbers for the day, we're right where we should be, temperature-wise, into the double digits. It really was a beautiful end to the day. Overnight, colder, 2 degrees in London near the freezing mark in through KW and Mount Forest. And if you're near Lake Erie or Huron, 7 degrees. The cold front that moved through brought periods of rainfall. That has now moved into southern Quebec and it's making its way to the Maritimes tonight. We do have some off-lake showers in and around parts of northern Ontario, off Superior and Georgian Bay. But for us, high pressure ridge will take hold in some nice dry air overnight. Sunshine in the forecast for tomorrow, but rain arrives as we head into Wednesday. Now, I'm expecting periods of rain Wednesday in through Grey and Bruce County in the morning, northern Huron and Perth County Wednesday. As well, you'll see some steady rain. The rest of the region, the chance of showers. So in London, it'll be overcast Wednesday to start your day, but we will end the day with rain. Now, I mentioned a parade of lows at 6 o'clock. This is what we are expecting to continue through the region this week. So we'll have a series of these low pressure systems, and every time one comes in, it brings rain. This time of year, these systems can usher in some cold conditions, and that's what will happen as we head into the extended forecast. So you wake up tomorrow morning, lots of sunshine, a beautiful day, mainly sunny in double digits heading into the afternoon, but we will start to see increasing amounts of cloud cover. The temperature high, 13 degrees. That is a bit above normal for this time of year. Make sure you get outside tomorrow. Enjoy this beautiful weather. Now, November tends to see some big swings. We will see one of those swings take hold as we head into early next week. Now, periods of rain possible as we head into Wednesday afternoon, but it just looks overcast to start the day on Wednesday. Mainly sunny on Thursday and 9, and then the chance for showers on Friday. Here's where things start to get a bit interesting. The temperatures dip down between 5 and 7 degrees over the weekend, and overnight lows drop near the freezing mark. That means that at nighttime, as the temperatures start to drop off, there is the risk for some mixed precipitation. Midwestern Ontario, your forecast tomorrow, lots of sunshine in the morning and then a mix of sun and cloud. Now, this is going to be an interesting week. I'll be watching this cold air that comes in behind these systems, because Wednesday we have rain, but the potential for some evening flurries. Showers in the forecast on Thursday as the temperatures drop off. Lake effect showers are going to be what I will be talking a lot about in the coming days. On Friday, about a 40% chance of a rain-snow mix, but you can still see double-digit temperatures. So, of course, that means at nighttime there's the potential for snow mixing in as the temperatures dip near freezing. Saturday, overcast, possibility of rain-snow mix heading into Sunday and Monday. Overnight lows dropping between 1 and 0. Could see a 2 there, with daytime highs getting cut in half in terms of what we're expecting to see tomorrow. So enjoy your Tuesday. Enjoy the sunshine. We do have rain in the forecast and rounds of showers, with the possibility of some mixed precipitation over those higher elevations in Midwestern Ontario as we move into the weekend.
Thanks, Julie. London firefighters have launched their annual campaign protecting people from carbon monoxide poisoning.
One major goal of our Fire Master Plan is to develop relationships and partners in our community that can assist us in our never-ending goal to protect the lives of our precious community.
Local firefighters say they expect to distribute more than 14,000 combination smoke and carbon monoxide alarms this year. They say the campaign is about making sure devices are handed out to London's more vulnerable households.
These alarms will go directly into homes, many in vulnerable or underserved communities. They are simple devices, but they save lives. We know that working smoke alarms can reduce the risk of fatal fires by more than 50%, and yet too many homes still lack these essential tools. Project Zero helps close that gap.
A London filmmaker was honored this weekend as the Forest City Film Festival wrapped up. David Shore is a Lucas Secondary School graduate who created the hit medical drama series House. And unbeknownst to him, the star of that series, Hugh Laurie, traveled over from the UK to take part in a special Q&A with Shore, celebrating his Lifetime Achievement Award with him.
When I was halfway across the Atlantic on Thursday, I thought, this is the stupidest thing I've ever done. This just makes no sense at all. But no, I'm so thrilled to be here, and it's so the award is so deserved.
I can't believe it. I was so gracious of them, so wonderful of them to come out and support me. Yeah, it was shock.
Finally tonight, a family-run food truck serving treats this past Halloween. As Brent Lale reports, the parents may have supplied the startup money, but it's a trio of 13-year-olds who run the show.
A love of nostalgic treats has led 13-year-old triplets to open a food truck business.
Triplet Treats. This is like me and my sister's business.
The Wenzel family from Aylmer has had the most popular house on Halloween for years by giving away fair food.
Popcorn, candy apples, caramel apples, slushy, cotton candy.
They would draw more than 600 people each Halloween.
And then my dad was just like, let's put it into a trailer and make money off of it.
Would you like a slushie? One loves cotton candy, one loves popcorn, one loves candy apples, so we can combine it and create a triplet treat. What better way for the girls to learn entrepreneurship?
The family has a history with fair foods. Mary Ann used to work at Western Fair, while her husband Tyler was involved with his grandfather's pizza business.
We love the events, we love the rush, we love seeing the smiles on the kids' faces, or even the older people who get that candy apple that they haven't had or cotton candy for years.
On Halloween this year, they held a contest to bring their truck to a neighborhood in southwestern Ontario. The winning selection was Florence Street in the northwest end of St. Thomas. They even added a charitable component by raising money for 10-year-old Zachary LaLiberty, who's battling cancer. While the triplets' parents may have bought the truck, the sisters are doing the heavy lifting. Ainsley loves the payoff from hard work.
Because I can see familiar faces and spend time with my family.
It will be theirs totally run once they're a little bit older. Right now, we're just helping them out. But they skipped school today, but really they learned, I heard them adding, counting, doing the multiplication of how many prep we did for our house in town of bags of cotton candy, popcorn. It's life skills. It's been fabulous.
Brent Lale, CTV News.
And that's it for us. Thanks for watching. For all of us at CTV News London, I'm Carlyle Fiset. Have a good night.